Hi, Gary. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Okay? Can you hear me
Yep.
okay?
Yep, real good.
Okay, cool. It's a little windy here, so just making sure. Oh, did you end up going into the studio or are you home?
No, I'm home. I'm on my back porch and the sun's giving me a heck of a time.
Gotcha.
See all my stuff I got here to keep the sun out.
Yeah, that's you got quite you did quite the setup there.
Yeah, it's on my back porch. I figured I had some pictures, so I might as well put them up there.
Nice.
Sorry about the Facebook. I had forgotten all about that.
That's okay. I didn't explicitly say that, so next time I'll make sure that I mention that. But yeah, it's more just to protect everyone.
Okay.
Hi, Matt.
Hi.
everyone.
Nicole is a friend of mine. She's my next door neighbor.
Oh, that Nicole. Yes,
Yeah, that's Nicole.
I have met that Nicole from afar.
I don't know if she knows how to use it, but
You might have to go give her a demo real quick.
my yard's cozy.
Cheers. It's Friday.
Cheers.
Cheers. Salute. Made it through another week. Matt, are you almost done with teaching for the school year?
The last day of new instruction was yesterday, and
Okay.
that was a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
So now we just kind of ride the week out and help kids who want to finish stuff. So we're done. Yeah,
Cool.
it's pretty great.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Hey, Nicole.
I figured it out.
Nice. I guess this is something we always say at our talk, but if you are new to the equipment, the first thing you got to do is drop to the bottom left corner and unmute yourself and turn your video on if you choose to do that.
Yep.
And those buttons are in the bottom left corner of your screen.
Thank you, Matt.
Hey, Rachel.
Someone in my neighborhood is making dinner that smells really, really good. And it's making me hungry.
Nice.
Yeah. Alrighty, we'll give it another couple minutes because there's another few people that RSVP'd. Here we go.
Hello.
Hello. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good, good.
Oh, Sue is from my writing group.
Cool. Maybe we'll do a quick speed round of introductions.
Hi, Sue.
I guess, do we want to do that while people are, I mean, there might still be a few people filtering in, but my name's Christina. I am the director of the yards. Once we get going, I'll do a little intro and kind of keep passing the mic off to people. But I am so thrilled everyone could be with us tonight and just kind of get to see some familiar faces and pretend it's not quite First Friday, but, you know, a gathering of sorts.
I got my book, Sue.
Gary, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Gary Redlinski. I'm a renter over at the yards. I'm
Cool.
old.
That's, well,
What else can I tell you?
Painter.
You have many things you do, Gary.
Gary, did you write a book? Is that what you were just showing us?
Yeah,
A
I'm
man of many words.
I'm one of 15 people. Whoops.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
And it just came out. So I'm not afraid to show that we did it. It's all veterans. There's what, so 15 of us, I think, in there, and
Awesome.
two members that had passed away on us while we were doing the book. So there's a little tribute to them also in there.
Matt, you want to introduce yourself real quick? Speed round. We can get into like who
Yeah.
we are and what we do.
Hi, my name's Matt. I'm a artist and a teacher, and I host Art Talk, and I'm going to show you some of the artists who have been coming to Art Talk tonight.
Cool. Rad, I have you next on the screen.
Sure. My name is Rachel Devona. I'm a renter at the Yards as well. I'm artist, illustrator. I like painting portraits. I'm the host of Figure Drawing Nights. I'll be talking about that. And just glad to see some faces here.
Cool. Next I have Caitlin.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Costello. I'm going to be a new renter at the Arts. I am the grants coordinator for Genesee Valley Council on the Arts, and I facilitate arts grants to Livingston and Monroe counties. So the Arts is going to be like our satellite office in Monroe County.
Awesome.
next
I'm
door
looking forward to
neighbor.
having, yeah, Gary has the studio next to you, Caitlin.
Awesome.
So you have to deal with him.
It's going to be all fun and games.
Oh, I'm sure.
Susan, I have you next on the screen.
I'm a friend of Gary's, belong to the Veterans Writing Group, and like the arts, I'm a quilt, not a painter or a drawer.
Awesome. Thank you for being with us. Mick,
Thank you.
you're muted.
You didn't miss much. I just said hi. I'm Michaela. Yep. I'm
You're our
an
main attraction.
What? Gary can
You're our
introduce
main
me.
attraction.
Yeah, I'm the main attraction. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I'm working on a thing that's made out of some words and pictures, and I'm gonna share a little bit of that with you guys today. And that's my mom over there in the corner.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah, my mom. Yeah. So, anywho, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you. Laura, do you want to say any words, or you can skip too if you want? You're muted.
It runs in the family.
Okay, so I'm excited to hear what my daughter has to say, and I'm also at work, so if I have to step away, sorry.
Okay. Well, thank you for being here. Ariel, do you want to say anything? I don't see you, but
Hi, I'm just a friend of Michaela's.
awesome. Thank you for joining us. And Kevin told me that he is not hooked up to audio, but he wishes everyone hello. Kevin is another one of our wonderful studio renters. So hello all. Thank you for being here. We might have some other people filter in, but we'll just have them jump on in. I am gonna see if maybe the sun is right in my eyes. Okay, that's a little better. So yeah, so I thank you everyone for being here. I just wanted to kind of like have an opportunity to reach out and kind of share what we're doing as a space. The last couple of weeks have been kind of momentous in change and in activism, and it's offered a lot of opportunity for me to reflect on what we offer at the Yards as a space. So that being said, as far as COVID is concerned and COVID-19, we're going to remain being closed to the public for the summer and fall. We're going to be doing a pop-up every once in a while, though, outside. So if you are like wanting to stop by and chat or hear what we're up to, keep a eye on our social media, and we'll share when those are happening. We have one of those happening tomorrow, and the goal for tomorrow is to do a little community outreach, kind of see what people in our area are like kind of longing for as far as programming, and maybe what they'd like to see happen at our space once we can kind of resume to the new normal. So that'll be 11 to 1, maybe till 2, and then we'll also maybe have a few pieces available for sale. And anything that sells tomorrow, we're gonna donate our commission to teen empowerment. So we've been trying to, with a couple of the different programming pieces that we have, or things that we can do to kind of pass the funds along to some different organizations in our community. I'm letting someone in right now. So that's tomorrow. If anyone is in the market and wants to stop by, come find us outside. Gary and I will be outside and enjoying this lovely mild weather. And then we're kind of also restructuring some of our membership, and hopefully to allow it to be more inclusive and allow more of our community to be a part of the physical community around the public market, to be a part of our space. So I'm working on that and kind of figuring out the logistics for that, but hopefully by the fall we'll have kind of a new some new membership opportunities. So I think that's something that I feel pretty passionately about, that if we're going to call ourselves a community space, we really need to start, doing the work in the community that we're a part of. So that is kind of the quick update about where we're at. I'm also going to be kind of meeting with members in the next couple weeks to be thinking about how we can do some implicit bias training, and maybe do some group readings together, maybe like a book club or something like that, and try and think about ways that we as a organization can kind of look ahead to do the work together. So that's kind of the short and sweet. Does anyone have any questions? No? Okay. So thank you so much. I'm going to pass the mic over to Matt, who hosts our Art Talk events. And I think Matt has some of the artists that have come with us the last couple over the COVID days. So I'll pass the mic to you, Matt. Thank you.
Hey, so, can you enable screen sharing for me? So Art Talk is a program that started at the Yards, and it's a program that met in person, at the space. Artists would bring in their work and we'd sit around and talk about it. Obviously, when COVID-19 hit, that changed things for us a bit. So what we have been doing is we've been meeting online. And what's been really cool about meeting online is that we've had the opportunity to kind of branch out to artists all over the place. So tonight, I'm going to show you guys some art from artists all over the country that have been participating in Art Talk. Now, Art Talk is a group critique where we meet and we work with artists from all sorts of different skill levels, and we work with artists in all sorts of different disciplines and mediums. There's no limitations on joining, and we try and frame things in a positive way and provide positive and constructive feedback. Oh, there's the play button. Yeah, I remember how to use things. So I'm going to show you some of the artists that we talked to, and I'm going to super encourage you guys to join us for our next Art Talk, which is on June 23rd. And I'm going to start with me. I'm Matt, and I'm an artist, and I'm a teacher. I'm a middle school special ed teacher. I like things that are really loud. I work with mythology. I work with found objects, and most of my work has a theme that's based in either some kind of monster, some mythological creature, and I work with a lot of different found materials and found mediums to make these things that I hope to be transformative and kind of becoming their own thing out of all these found things. So that's me, that's my work, and I'm going to show you guys some other folks. This is JJ. JJ is a local artist. JJ makes collages. JJ has made about 9 billion small collages, and she's a person who collects lots and lots of images. And through Art Talk, she's been kind of thinking about how does she make bigger work? How does she make larger size work? And how does she lean into this instinct she has for collecting different materials? So the piece you see in front of you is made out of a found frame. And she's using relief effects here to collect all these different flowers and all these different images of the sky to sort of make this three-dimensional relief work that sets within this found frame. She gave us a cool little video last time, so I'm going to show that to you real quick. So you can kind of see how JJ is mounting the images to the canvas. Well, I think it's particle board actually. And you could see how the different images that she's been using are kind of creating this depth, and collage is often a medium that doesn't have a lot of depth because it's hard to create a figure ground relationship with found images. So that's JJ. Next is Joey. Joey is another collage artist, but he's also a photographer, and he's been choosing to show us some of his photos at Art Talk. He manipulates these images in Photoshop, and he's really interested in kind of textures and gradients and kind of manipulating the images to make these kind of strange field images that are almost archaeological in their presentation. So that's Joey. Then we have Cameron. Cameron's another collage artist, and the three artists I just showed you are part of a, if you are interested in collage, they're part of a group called the Rochester Collage Community. We've been meeting every week on Zoom, and before that we met at a tattoo shop at High Falls. But we meet once a week and we just hang out and we make collages. So if any of you guys are interested in that, feel free to hit me up. We're always looking for new people to hang out with and make art. This is Cameron. Cameron makes, he uses a lot of old images. He uses like 60s pulp magazines and old National Geographics, and he creates these kind of, a lot of times they're like sci-fi landscapes. What's unique about Cameron is the way that he cuts his images. You can see he kind of makes these wavy kind of surreal images that he then layers on top of one another, and he creates patterns using found images. So that's Cameron's work. And next we have Lindsay. Lindsay is an art therapist. Lindsay makes a lot of different stuff. She makes artwork with her clients. She's shown us some pretty cool stuff where she is working directly with her clients online by Zoom, because you know everything is moved to Zoom for however long it's going to be like this. And Lindsay has brought a different medium to every single art talk, which is pretty cool. You can see the mask on the far right that she made and one of her collages on the left. Lindsay is also a dancer, and she makes video art. So she is often kind of interested in the female form, but she makes a lot of work about a lot of stuff. So there's Lindsay. Next is Ryan. Ryan makes massive photo montages. Ryan will typically, like one of these things, if he prints it, it'll be like 14 feet long by like 3 feet. And he likes to make montages in the style of David Hockney, but Ryan's a lot more rigid. He sort of tries to piece his images back together. He likes very loud images with a lot going on, and then he kind of captures all the moments from them that he can, and he will just kind of methodically go through these hundreds and hundreds of images he took and sort of piece the scene back together. This is a Renaissance fair that took place on Coney Island. Oh wait, he told me I can't call it a Renaissance fair. These guys like actually like train to like joust and fight with swords and stuff, and I guess they put on cool gear, and then they have like, I don't know, like fights. I guess the Renaissance fair is like the professional wrestling of what these guys do, but these guys are actually like getting into it. But as you can see, the image is very chaotic. It captures all these small moments, and Ryan just kind of pieces all those moments together. I like to think of it as if a photograph captures a moment in time, Ryan's work captures like a couple of minutes in time, you know? So that's Ryan's montages. And next we have Austin. Austin is another guy from Brooklyn. Austin works in sound editing. He worked on like the show The Orange is the New Black, and he's a sound engineer. He records stuff. But Austin has also been a photographer for a very long time. Austin finds humor in kind of the banal objects that we see that we walk past every day. A lot of these images you're seeing are things that Austin sees on like his commute to the store, or his commute to work when that was still a thing that we did, or just his walking around of his neighborhood. He's kind of a shoot from the hip photographer who's kind of always just kind of looking for things to shoot. And what you can see with these images is he kind of just anthropomorphizes these road cones and other kind of traffic stuff that we see in our day-to-day life. So that's Austin. He's got so many of these photos. It's pretty cool to see them all lined up. This is Adam, who just recently joined Art Talk. Adam is a photographer. I don't know a ton about Adam's work because this is the first I've seen, but what I like about it, these two images that Adam brought to us is the juxtaposition between the two of them, both in the dark and light, but also in the content and the emotional content of the two images. So that's Adam's work. And this is Aubrey. Aubrey is a she's a Pratt graduate, and she is currently getting her PhD in archaeology out in Tennessee. Aubrey's a painter. If you guys have ever heard of the Kaleidoscope Collective, she's a former wall therapy artist. She did a big old gigantic mural on the side of their building. And yeah, Aubrey is kind of just an expressionist painter, really hardworking artist. She's done a lot of really cool projects all over the world. She likes to work big. She likes to work loud, and her most recent works have been focused on kind of her field of study. So she's been using bones as a subject matter for a while now. And what she does is she finds these images that come from archaeological digs all over the world. She researches where they came from, and she creates these kind of emotional images of embraces. So that's Aubrey's work. And then last is my buddy Chris, and Chris is a cryptozoologist. Chris is a former resident artist for the Coney Island Freak Show, if you've ever been to that cool place. And Chris kind of runs, Chris is like a roadside attractions guy. If you guys have ever seen the cartoon Gravity Falls, he's like the old man in Gravity Falls who runs the shack. He is interested in roadside attractions. Like if you're on the highway and you see the signs that say like, come see the thing in 50 miles, come see the thing in 20 miles. He's slowly building up an oddities museum where he does things like, he works with taxidermy, and he takes like animals and, you know, he transforms them into different kind of oddities. A lot of the stuff he makes, he doesn't make up himself. They come from a long tradition of cryptozoology. So for example, this is a fur-bearing northern whitefish circa 1650, which I don't have to tell you isn't a real thing, but Chris is kind of slowly building an oddities museum that he hopes to set up somewhere. He's also the former head carpenter for the New York City Ballet. So he's got a pretty fun resume. So that's Chris. Our next art talk is Tuesday, June 23rd, 6:30 to 8. I would absolutely love to see you guys there if you want to join us. It's a good vibe and it's a good time. If you are interested in joining, you can sign up through the Yards, or you can contact me directly at Instagram at ublitz, or at my email address, matt.vanderly@gmail.com. I had one more thing I want to show you guys tonight. One of the things we do at Art Talk is we kind of talk about where we're at artistically, like where the world's at. And from time to time, I kind of ask different questions of what's going on. There's a lot going on in the world right now, and I am not gonna get super into it because there's a lot to say, but I have been thinking in the past few days, like kind of what's the role, the responsibility, or the duty of an artist during a time like that. And I was going to share with you guys tonight some of the words of the late and great Nina Simone on just that subject. And that's what I'm going to do. Here we go.
An artist's duty, as far as I'm concerned, is to reflect the times. I think that is true of painters, sculptors, poets, musicians. As far as I'm concerned, it's their choice. But I choose to reflect the times and the situations in which I find myself. That to me is my duty. And at this crucial time in our lives, when everything is so desperate, when every day is a matter of survival, I don't think you can help but be involved. Young people, black and white, know this. That's why they're so involved in politics. We will shape and mold this country, or it will not be molded and shaped at all anymore. So I don't think you have a choice. How can you be an artist and not reflect the times? That to me is the definition of an artist.
So guys, I'm gonna leave it at that. All right.
That was awesome. Thank you, Matt. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, and if you guys have any questions, please use the chat box or.
Cool. Matt, do
Very
you mind keeping an eye? So to do that, I made you the host. Do you mind keeping an eye on who's incoming?
Yep.
Because I think we've got someone that's trying to get in here probably sometime soon. So.
Yep, I just pulled that menu up and we just let Chris in.
Okay.
So, there we go.
Okay. Awesome. So next, Rachel, do you want to talk a little bit about figure drawing and the programming that you've been doing virtually?
Sure. Our figure drawing nights are now every other Wednesday. So this upcoming Wednesday will be a figure drawing night. So Wednesday, 17th, I believe. It's 6 to 7 p.m. So just a 1-hour session. And our models are clothed. They're either in underwear or swimsuit or costume. So it's a great opportunity if you haven't done it in a long time, or if you've never done it before, or if you just have a spare hour and want to zone out and draw. It's a great opportunity to sit down with your paper and pencil and I'll draw something together. Our models have been great. They're working from home. We've got a rotating cast of some models, and all our donations usually go to our models or myself as organizer, but the past session we donated all tips to, let's see, 540 West Main, and what was the other one? Woke Art Collaborative.
Yeah, Woman of Color Art Collaborative. Yeah.
Great roster groups that we wanted to support. And this week, I believe any tip proceeds will be going towards the RAC, Rochester Artists Collaborative. It's a great art community. Yeah, down there in the chat, Christina said $210 was raised last time. But yeah, it's a wonderful opportunity to get together and draw. Send me an email if you have any questions or if you'd like to get involved in that. The emails are devona@gmail.com. Or you can sign up through the Yards website on their calendar page. If you have any questions, let me know. And I'd also like to talk a little bit about just a personal project I've got going on currently. I am very inspired by the books I read. I read a lot, whether it's, adult fiction, sci-fi, fantasy, or I still read a lot of children's books because it's where I find a great art and great stories. But most recently, one of my favorite authors on my radar is N.K. Jemisin, who is a female sci-fi writer and also a woman of color, which is, I'm just like learning more and more every day how important it is to listen to stories that people have to tell, and especially people of color. And her stories are great. In a collection of short stories she wrote called How Long Till Black Future Month, I read the introduction, which I don't always do with books, admittedly, but in the introduction were the sentences, how terrifying it's been to realize that no one thinks my people have a future. Her being a sci-fi writer. Sci-fi so often takes place in the future, and whether it's future you want to envision or not, but there's not very many people of color represented in sci-fi. So long story short, when I read that book, it was this winter, I knew I wanted to paint her portrait on the book, and I did, but then I saw Wall Therapy had the little mini grant. I applied, but with or without the grant, I want to do this project where I read 100 books, all authored by women of color, Black women, and Indigenous women, and then paint their portrait on the cover, and then redistribute all those books and now portraits throughout Rochester in those little free libraries that are scattered throughout. I just think it'd be a great way to promote listening to stories of people that are different from you. And I'm a huge advocate for free education and accessible art. And I just want to do what I can to share stories and art and good words. So let's see, I don't have screen sharing, but maybe I can just hold up a picture on my phone. This is a portrait of N.K. Jemisin on her book, How Long Till Black Future Month. A bit blurry, but I have compiled the list of 100 authors and their titles, and I got my first delivery this morning of 9 books, so I'm excited to get started on that. I'm just looking forward to reading these stories and painting these people, and sharing both of that. And that's what's on my plate right now.
That's awesome. What a great idea, Rachel. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Look forward to seeing the progress of that.
Thank you. Me too. I hope to keep everyone tuned in.
Awesome. Speaking of writing, Gary, do you want to talk about your recent publication, group publication?
Sure. I joined a couple years ago to the Veterans Writing Group in Rochester. I think it was formed after a group in Syracuse, but I've been involved with them for quite a few years now. I really enjoy it. I'm not a writer, but I enjoy being there with all the other veterans and family members of veterans that are in there. Our book has about, I think, 15 writers in it, and there's two of our members have passed away, and so there's a little tribute to both of those in there. Sue could probably even tell you more about her book than I do. She's more in charge of everything that's going on, but it's a great book. It was an honor for me to even be put a couple of my stories in there. It's now on, I believe it's on Amazon now. You can get it. I have some copies if anybody's interested in them. Basically, that's pretty much it.
We need a yards copy, Gary.
Oh.
We need a yards copy to add to our library, please.
Don't get so impatient.
Please and thank you.
I was gonna bring it tomorrow. You don't give me a chance.
I'm so demanding. I'm sorry.
Yeah, stop blinking your eyes, will you?
He's a very good writer. A very good writer. He just doesn't give himself credit for that.
Nah. But I don't paint either. I'm not a painter. I do wood burning, and basically with my painting, I just feel that I do lines. I'm not really a painter. I enjoy doing it. I've done photography. I've done some jewelry things. I don't know. Probably this will end and I'll be doing something else too. I'm not sure what, but I enjoy doing it. It keeps me busy, keeps me out of Diana's hair, and she's happy. So, and I'm glad to meet my my new next door neighbor at the yards. That's going to be cool. I'm hoping that we're going to be open also to be able. I'm planning on doing in beginning in November an art show of all veterans. Did it last year. It was very successful. We even sold a few paintings, which was kind of cool. But I'm hoping we'll be able to do it a live thing this November. But it'll all depend on what happens in the world. So. But if I don't do it live, I have a friend that will be able to do a virtual gallery. I was just in that with him. He was doing for a college project, and it worked out pretty good for him. He got a decent grade, and I was just happy to be in that show. So I'm hoping he's going to be in my show. Let's do it. That's awesome. Pretty much it for me.
Things to look forward to. Yeah, we're kind of just playing the fall by ear and just kind of taking one day at a time. So it would be awesome to get together, but we now know many different options of ways to share art with each other now in this virtual landscape. So so awesome. Thanks, Gary, for sharing a little bit about your practice.
Okay. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, see you tomorrow. All right, Mick, do you want to go next? The grand
I'll unmute
finale.
myself this time. Matt, do you mind making me the host, please?
Nope, here we go.
Thank you. Okay, so I've been working on a book that could be a graphic novel, but I think, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna show you guys the first dozen or so pages from that and read from it. I think it's interesting the thing shared Matt about Nina's quote about reflecting the world. I feel like it's sort of something that you do often. So for those of you who know me, you may know that I work in a biology lab. So my book is very much related to my work there. Okay, so anyway, I'll just get started. It's kind of the format is a little bit tricky just because it's like a page and it's meant to be viewed as a page, but to give you guys some context of like where we are on the page, I'm going to zoom in and scroll down and read aloud. And then when I flip to a new page, I'll sort of like let it sit there for a second and then continue reading. So page 1. 10,000 pipes contour the corridors, carrying water, power, words, and vacating ash to out of doors. Embedded among the boxes, you coalesce and tessellate. Okay. Up 3 fists, the sun sheds cusps onto the empty nest. Past the glass near the dissection desk. Your lists divine the next imperative. You orbit lab to gather the equipment. Sorry, my inflection wasn't right on that sentence. I'm going to try it again because, I mean, I'm not sharing that much with you guys, so I'll try again. Yeah. Up 3 fists, the sun sheds cusps onto the empty nest, past the glass near the dissection desk. Your lists divine the next imperative. You orbit lab to gather the equipment. A fellow flesh constituent of this concrete and linoleum organism collapses, and the distress signal goes out over public address. Emergency G453 medical team to emergency G453 medical team, emergency G453 medical team, a toxin almost hourly. You tuck the vials of chow into the plain brown bag. From among a dozen articles, you conjure keys and badge. Strictly enigmatic entrances connect the hospital quotidian to underground vivariums. The parallel and isolated halls obscure the basement's sprawl. Tile anticipates your footfall, but rooms that stud both sides gulp all echo and exchange at thresholds the scurry of paws over shredded bedding or cacophonies of birds like excerpts from the tropics. The click and turn of key sets your colony shivering. A child does better to learn, if you are good to me, I am good to you. No such seesaw claims to teeter between you and the research creatures. You need to move the trial animals to fresh cages, Predictably, he burrows into the feeding tunnel that imparts a sense of armor. Though you've never been bit, you shrink as you venture for decisive grip. You pull. Don't dangle him by the tail tip. His spasms would cause him to spin and rip. You replace him in an identical box, sustain the motions for 9 more rows of identical luckless animals. Number 8 clings, screams, breaks a nail, bleeds. You offer him, limp and wet, an extra marble, the only comfort and apology available. Relief is scheduled, 12 weeks till harvest. Yesterday, today, and 12 weeks of tomorrows, you'll fill their water bottles and dole out chow laced with specific amounts of a substance you cannot yet call poison or remedy. Before you leave, you pull one from the cycle population. She tucks herself into your elbow nook. So at this point, there's sort of like a section break that is somehow going to be indicated, and also that we're in a different location. So we're in a different location. And these 2 pages are related to each other. This. He tracks the fleeing present, though it's obsolete before it recedes. The scaffolds cast artillery of pixels, keystrokes, that he hoards delightlessly. The story born of the technique goes, you have a chance to know your boundaries, a rare fixed surface in the endless brute jelly of colliding things. Urgently record the way things hit, rapidly adjust the web of artifacts. The story promises, precision lessens vulnerability. His lights probe tirelessly, and darkness frightens you. You take his midnight company. His name is always new. Okay, so those are like the first few pages of that thing. Yeah. Any questions? I don't really know.
Thank you so much for sharing. A couple of weeks ago when we met, you mentioned like that the way that you were drawing was changing. Is this through the computer or is this scanned in?
Oh my Lord. Yeah. Oh, it's undergone rapid, so many changes, but I'll show you like a progression of the things that I've done. So like those drawings are digitally drawn from like a paper version. But before that, I was, because you might have noticed that there was like no color and no gradation and nothing going on, but I have the technology to open up something real quick. Sorry, I don't, let's see. I have a very funny folder on my, this is what I'll share. I have a funny folder on my computer called Story, which is this thing, and I will share with you a prior version to this, which is maybe where the story will eventually go in terms of how it will look, but there's something also about like the straight line tracing that I enjoy a lot. So anyway, who knows how it's gonna look in the end, but I feel like I need to get the things intact that make it meaningful, which is like the words and the general gist of how it will look. So anyway, it goes some places. More experiments will be discussed.
Cool.
But anyway, yeah, thank you for tuning in, everybody. I really feel quite happy about your presence.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. It's awesome to see kind of, you know, and is this the same graphic novel that you did a trial run like in December in like the holiday season? Okay, cool. Yeah, I am eager for that day to come when I can read it in entirety.
Lol.
No pressure. No pressure or anything.
And then you have to give a copy to the yards.
And then I'm going to make you give me a free copy. I didn't mean it like that, guys. I'm sorry. Awesome.
I
Well,
love giving you a hard time.
thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this evening. And I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend ahead. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to shoot me an email, or if you want to learn more about programming or our members or anything like that, just let me know. We're a little quieter than we normally would be as far as programming and activities, but I think we're all just taking this time to kind of, collect ourselves and figure out what we can do as individuals and as a larger community to try and make gains towards equity. So one day at a time, and thank you all so much for sharing some time and space with us tonight.
Hey,
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you all. All right.
Can Caitlin say a little bit more about the studio next to us?
Sure, if people want to hear about it. So the studio next to you, Gary, is kind of going to be my satellite office. Right now I've kind of been working from home doing stuff, as most people have, but I will be using that as a location to meet potential grant applicants and things like that. We facilitate 3 grants through the decentralization program of New York State, and that gives grants to individual artists, community art projects, and artists in education. And they can be anywhere from as little, like 0, to up to $5,000 for the grants, depending on which one you apply for. So right now we're just getting into the beginning of the grant cycle, so I'm working on editing the guidelines, especially with new stuff in regards to COVID and how we're helping to facilitate artists still producing work and things like that. But I'm going to be holding online seminars over the summer and using the space as kind of like a hub for Rochester area.
Oh, that'd be really great.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Kevin doesn't want to show his face, but he shares the space with me, so
okay.
You'll get to meet him someday.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. And then for anyone that's a renter, this is going to be, I'll be sending a renter's email out, but Monday at 6 p.m., we're going to do a socially distant meeting at Cobb's Hill. And I'll send that out in an email, or if you're not comfortable with that, that's totally okay. We'll still have an option for people to Zoom in.
Okay, cool.
All righty, cool. All right, thanks everyone. Have a good rest of your weekend.
Okay,
Bye.
great. So long.
Bye.
Bye.